Globku is a YouTuber and streamer who plays a lot of anime games, but most importantly, he does play Shinobi Striker. This is not a hate video on Globku, I watch his content, but I'm gonna correct his video. The video I'm talking about is I love this jutsu, but Itachi DLC gameplay. This basically goes over 3 builds with Itachi that I think should be changed because he didn't do it correctly. So with no disrespect in mind, let's get straight into the video.
First up, we're gonna run Squiami with paralysis jutsu.
My first major gripes are that these two jutsus are very similar to each other. They're both paralysis jutsus from a very long distance. And he states this in his video, which doesn't make any sense at all.
The idea with this loadout is that paralysis will make Squiami easier to land, because one of the biggest downsides to Squiami is the fact that it tracks very poorly.
So the problem with that statement is that these jutsus have the same hitbox. They're both jutsus that attack the opponent from a far distance of paralysis, like I said earlier. And they also have the same hitbox, meaning that if you hit someone with the paralysis jutsu and then Tsukiyomi, you don't make the opponent easier to hit, because hitting paralysis jutsu is as hard as hitting Tsukiyomi. But he also says this later in his video.
And that was not a lot of damage, was it? The combo was successful. Paralysis did make Tsukuyomi easier to land, but I mean, the damage doesn't seem worth it. That was really nothing.
Now I'm going to show you guys what combo he just did, but I did want to point out that I don't know why he expected a lot of damage to come out of this combo, or if the commenter expected a lot of damage, as this is again just paralysis jutsus attacking each other. So if you stack them on without doing any extra damage, of course it's not going to do a lot. But let's move on to the build that I think you should not do.
It's looking like a 1v1 against this attack type, and interrupting his Rasengan with paralysis into Tsukuyomi. Paralysis into Squiami. The defense type is gonna attack him. That didn't break his jutsu.
So Globku likes to hit them with the paralysis and then Tsukiyomi, then do damage, which is not the optimal way of actually doing the damage. And this could be Globku's fault or it could not be, depending on how you view it. But in my opinion, this is the better way to do it, is to find your opponent, start off with some light attacks into Tsukiyomi, wait a little bit, light attacks into paralysis, then do an entire light string. This does a ton of damage, is way better than Globku's way. So essentially, all you have to do is just combo the opponent into Tsukiyomi and then paralyze them shortly after to get them some damage. So that's the biggest problem with that build, is that it just isn't correct. It's not the best build and won't do the most damage.
That's when I had the idea of using lava. By standing in lava, enemies are slowed down, which makes it easier to hit them with Squiami. And while they are trapped in the genjutsu, they are actually burning with lava damage.
Now I won't lie to you guys, this build is actually really insanely good. I've been running it over a couple of games. The lava plus the Tsukiyomi, not even in a combo, is just such a good build for clearing points and disabling enemies that I honestly will run this in the future. But there is the elephant in the room that we need to talk about, and that is what Globku did in his video. And I'll just show you the clip and I'll talk afterwards.
Now, hitting opponents with lava isn't always easy, since players spend a lot of time in the air in Shinobi Striker. So, my friend Esper ran a range type with the Rain Against swap to put some fulls in my lava. Paralysis sealed down and swap their range type. Tsukuyomi, and unfortunately...
So in the clip I just showed you, Globku decides to use Esper as his friend to help him use the build. But I'm telling you right now, you don't need a friend to do this build, and I'll show you how to do it in a second. But in this clip, they use so much setup for just such little payoff, and there's so many things that could go wrong, it's just not worth doing this. I'll go over one more example.
Put the lava on the ground, try to set up something. That defense type is looking tasty, and unfortunately, he leaves Esper's line of sight.
So his build consists of putting lava on the ground, and then Renegon swapping an opponent onto some paralyzed seals and onto the lava, then Tsukiyomi, and look how little damage I did. That's about half health. What I'm about to show you does so much more. So to do this, you have to find an opponent on their own, combo them with the light attacks, then into Tsukiyomi, then immediately go into lava style. Hit him straight in the face, then continue some light attacks. Without him subbing, that would have been an insta-kill, and I'll show you one more clip. When doing this combo, make sure that the opponent does not have a substitution. Then go ahead and attack them and start up the combo. Light, and Tsukiyomi. This swing works when the opponent is actually down, then lava straight in the face into a straight up combo. I ended up having to use Izanagi, but I still managed to defeat these guys. And ignore the little teabag I gave. Just something I was dealing with, some hackers and stuff. And this guy, same thing. Knocked him on the ground, then used Tsukiyomi right on him. This is the best combo, man.
This combo requires a range type to combo because otherwise it's really hard to land it, as opponents tend to very easily avoid the lava. And even with the range type, the combo is not guaranteed because Squiami is flimsy as hell and it can be interrupted at any time.
So everything he said right there, it just isn't true. You can do all of these combos on your own. You don't need a range type, and it's not hard to do. Go ahead and try on your own. I know the entire point was for them to be on lava, then hit them with Sukiomi to hit them easier, but you can just combo them with 2 hits, and I don't know if he knew that or not, so that's probably why.
With a strangle, that's very interesting. Let's try it out. This combo sounds awesome.
Now, when coming up for the idea for this video, this is actually the caveat. This is the thing that I thought was kind of the most stupid, and I'll go over in a second why. But I did want to say that this combo isn't actually that bad. You hit them with Sukiomi, you hit them with Shadow Possession, and boom, you get the damage. But let me show you a part of the video that I found kind of strange.
YouTube comments came to my rescue. Hey Glob, good build to Squiami. It's Shadow Strange. It's a one-shot without even ulting. Oh? Shadow Possession, I assume.
The comment says Shadow Strange, which obviously means Shadow Strangulation. There was just a error in the wording. But there are 2 abilities from Shikamaru, Shadow Possession and Shadow Stitching. Neither of them are Shadow Strangulation. I believe Shadow Strangulation is part of the Shadow Possession, but let's see what Globku does.
And block, which this heal type does. Shadow Possession, Strangle, Squiami. And now let's get in there, stop the cap, and attack as soon as Squiami triggers, and you lied to me.
Now for this last build, I'm actually not gonna diss him. This is actually a pretty good build, and that wasn't wrong. He did it pretty well. Obviously, you can combo into a light attack, into Sukiomi, into grab, which I will show you in a second. But just doing it off of Sukiomi to grab or grab onto Sukiomi isn't that bad, and it's a pretty good combo. You can do this onto an opponent that is standing still and use the Sukiomi into the Shadow Possession, or you can combo into it, use Sukiomi, then Shadow Possession, which does a lot more damage. But there is still something wrong with this build. Globku, take it away.
So Shadow Possession, miss. Man, that thing really does not hit anyone that's in the air, even if they're just an inch above the ground.
Okay, so there's 2 main problems. One, you get to hit Sukiomi into Shadow Possession, which takes a long time and can be interrupted. And like seen in Globku's video, you cannot hit opponents in the air, and Sukiomi can actually hit opponents in the air, which makes it a big challenge. So I'm proposing one thing. We're going to switch to Shadow Stitching. In the original comment it says Shadow Strange, but I think this means Shadow Stitching because this is more the same thing as Shadow Strangulation than it is Shadow Possession. And I'm also going to be showing you Mind Transfer, which is a different build, so that we can see if it's much better. Shadow Stitching with Sukiomi does a little bit less damage than normal, but I do have to say it has a bigger range, which could be more useful depending on the situation that you're in. Mind Transfer, on the other hand, is actually a much better combo, letting you hit opponents from a third distance and opponents that are in the air. This also is a lot more flashy, and I think combo's better, but I'm not sure. If you guys want to see more Shinobi Striker content or just like the video, please drop a like and subscribe. And no offense to Globku, I love your videos. I am an avid watcher of anything that you post. And this is not a video to offend you. I will link you in the description. Please check him out. Please subscribe to him. Best anime YouTuber. Oh, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.